Hello there, and peace to you. Thank you for joining me today for Meditative Affirmations, an affirming mindfulness, meditative, and writing workshop presented by Ess McKee for 10 East Arts. My name is Manon Voice, and I am a poet, spoken word artist, writer, community builder, and practicing contemplative, and I'm excited to be your virtual facilitator today. Before we begin our practice, I would like to invite you to find some place wherever you are that is the most comfortable for you. It could be your bedroom, it could be a dedicated room in your house where you love to go that maybe has some silence and light. It could be on your front porch, it could be lying in the grass in your backyard, it could be in your car, or if you are working, it could be in your cubicle, or if you find a quiet place at your place of employment. Wherever you are, I would just invite you to find a place that's most comfortable and that has the least amount of distractions. I know that we are all living and working in different conditions, and so wherever you are, I would just encourage you to try to find a place that is most comfortable for you and that has the least distractions. If you do have people that are around you, or if there is noise, you are also welcome to use headphones for this practice. And so, before we begin, I would also like to invite you to grab some paper, or if you have a notebook, that would be great, and also grab a writing utensil. So let's create the framework for our activity today. Writing in itself is a very transformative practice. Whether you are a person who journals every day or every so often, or whether you are a person who likes to write leisurely for fun, or whether you are a professional writer, writing for transformation and guidance really allows us to become open to a deeper relationship with ourselves and with the world around us. Research has even shown that writing about stressful events can help to boost the immune system, helps us to sleep better, and build stronger social connections. Mindfulness is a buzzword that we see everywhere these days. And so first, I would like to simply honor the tradition from which it is derived. Mindfulness and meditation both have roots in Buddhism, but although these practices have roots in Buddhism, the practice itself does not require any special religious or spiritual affiliation. Mindfulness in itself, I always like to distill things down to their simple meaning. And so I define mindfulness as the practice of non-striving, non-judgmental attention. It is paying attention on purpose with as much sensitivity as possible and with as much detail as possible. And when we bring mindfulness into our lives, we become more present to the moment, and we realize that we all have the capacity to be stable and calm. Right now, we are living in very, very challenging times. Uncertainty abounds everywhere, and many of us may be under stressful conditions. We may be out of work. We may be wondering what tomorrow may bring. Mindfulness allows us to be in touch with the part of our being that is deeper, that is more vast than any one present emotion that we can experience momentarily. And so we are going to practice cultivating that today. And I hope that you can find some tools that you can begin your own mindfulness practice that can help you to really get in touch with the full, boundless creative being that you already are. So there are some tools that can support us in our journey of becoming more mindful and in cultivating our awareness to the present moment. And those tools are that of kindness and compassion. When we talk about kindness, we talk about an open-heartedness that welcomes any experience. And so, when we say non-striving, non-judgmental attention, we are not trying to change how we feel right away. We simply are just bringing our awareness to it. And then the practice of cultivating awareness to how we feel will transform how we feel on its own. And so, compassion helps us to be empathetic to our own journey. We have concern with how we are feeling in every state of being, with every experience. We can have compassion and empathy for how we are in the present moment. So cultivating kindness and compassion in our experiences day to day, in our experiences moment to moment, helps us to become more mindful and present to what is. It supports our mindfulness journey. And so we want to bring those tools into our practices today. And now I would like to read to you one of my favorite poems by one of my favorite poets, and that poet is Rumi, who was a 13th century Sufi mystic. And the name of this poem is entitled The Guest House. And this poem is read in meditation and mindfulness retreats all around the world for symbolizing the message of simply being with what is. The guest house. This human being is a guest house. Every moment, a new arrival. A joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house, empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door, laughing, and invite them in. Be grateful for whatever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. Guest house. This human being is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whatever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. Take some time and just notice how you feel in your body. You know that words and sounds have vibrations. Words carry energy. Are you noticing any movement in your body? Are there sensations in certain areas in response to this poem? Just take a moment and be with that. Just gently notice and bring your attention to whatever that may be. You can take a moment to close your eyes and simply notice whatever comes up. We're not trying to change anything. We're just simply being with what is. This poem brings us into our first writing exercise, which is based off of this poem, The Guest House. And so the first line says, this human being is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival. What is in your guest house today? What are the emotions, the hopes that you have, or perhaps the fears, the struggles? What is in your guest house? What guests are present? Take some time to simply think about that. Maybe notice, maybe it's something that you are already aware of. I know this morning I was struggling with a little bit of anxiety and a little bit of generalized fear. And so that was something that I took the time to be with, that I took the time to notice. And so the first writing prompt is, what is in your guest house today? Who are the visitors in your guest house? And it could be any emotion, fear, grief, it could be anger, it could be uncertainty, it could be all of those things. It could be a range of emotions. It could be joy, happiness, excitement. But we're just going to take some time to write about that. Who are the guests in your guest house today? So, who are the guests in your guest house today? Who are the guests that visited your guest house today? Hopefully you took some time to reflect and you were able to draw from your own personal experiences, which led you to write them down. I would love to share with you what I wrote from this prompt. After my meditation today, I felt a clenched sense of fear and panic. I don't know where these emotions came from, but I felt them deep in my belly. I realized that my response to these emotions has been to shut down or to rival with them. But instead, I just noticed them and accepted them and allowed them to be. I approached my discomfort with openness and curiosity, and eventually I felt these emotions change. I went about my day and didn't feel as though they had a strong hold on me. I noticed that my emotions can change moment by moment, like clouds in the sky. But it does not mean that I am my emotions. Thank you for engaging in that first practice. Again, just take some time to notice how you feel in your body, to just be aware and to just allow it to be. And so through this first mindfulness meditative writing practice, we did some reflection. We noticed what or who the visitors were in our guest house, which is the first step to cultivating mindfulness. So we brought our attention inward. We brought our attention to our interior lives, and we took the time to notice. And hopefully we took the time to notice with non-striving, non-judgmental acceptance, which are the tools which allow us to strengthen our mindfulness practice, to just be present to what is and to meet what is with kindness and compassion. So for our next portion of this workshop, we are going to engage in a meditative mindfulness breathing exercise. We are going to take some time to focus on our breath and to cultivate awareness of our breathing. It sounds very simple, but it is really profound. And surprisingly, we are rushed throughout the day. Our breath can become very irregular and very staggered, and we can just forget the importance of the breath being the sustainer of life on this physical plane. And by focusing on the breath, we reconnect our minds and our bodies to the present moment. Remember that all that is happening right now in the present moment. And so we can really be with the present moment by focusing our attention on our breaths. And so hopefully you are still in a place or a position that feels comfortable for you. I have actually changed where I was sitting. I found a chair that really feels comfortable and that also really supports my spine and promotes alertness and wakefulness. And so if you are not in a position where you can be sitting with your feet flat on the floor, I would invite you to do that now. And so before we begin this exercise, I would encourage you again to remember the qualities that support mindfulness, the qualities of kindness and compassion. We really want to bring kindness and compassion into this exercise and into our mindfulness as a way of living. Kindness and compassion, because we are worthy beings. You are worthy of being here in this moment with whatever you are experiencing, whatever that may be. You are worthy of being here in this moment. And so just take some time and call kindness, call compassion into this exercise. Non-striving, non-judging. We are simply allowing ourselves to be with what is. We are simply allowing ourselves to be. You can let go of any kind of agenda to try to fix yourself or fix anything. You're simply allowing yourself to be. So maybe just take some deep preliminary breaths. My dog is allowing herself to be as well in the background. And now I would invite you to put your feet flat on the floor. I'm going to scoot back in my chair and so that my back is up against the chair. And just take a few preliminary breaths again. And now I want you to bring your attention to your body. Notice your feet flat on the floor. Notice how your legs feel. Maybe move up from your feet to your calves. From your calves to your thighs. And thighs to pelvis. And maybe just notice any tension or any sensation. From your pelvis to your abdomen. From your abdomen to your chest and torso. Your arms and your fingers. your neck, your shoulders, your back, your bottom, your back again, your neck, your head, and your face. Notice the weight of your body. Notice how it feels to be supported. Supported by the chair you are sitting on or couch. Notice how it feels to be supported by the ground beneath you. And now, just rest your hands wherever you like. It could be on your lap or on the sides of the chair. Now I would like for you to bring your attention to your abdomen and just soften your abdomen. And as you do that, I would invite you to feel the rise and the fall of your abdomen as you breathe in and out. Just notice the rise and the fall. The natural rise and fall. And now draw your attention to the quality of your breath. The inhalation and the exhalation. Notice if your breaths are short or are they long? Are they deep breaths? Are they shallow? Are they labored? And don't try to interfere with the pattern of your breath. Just simply notice. The breath is the life force. It is a sustainer of life on this physical plane. Just simply allow yourself to be with it as you inhale and as you exhale. You can even count the extension of your inhalation and your exhalation, how long it is. So maybe 1, 2 on the in or 1, 2 on the out, or however long. It helps to keep your attention focused on the breath. Another trick, if your attention turns away from your breath, as the mind often does, because that's what minds do, you can gently escort it back without judging, without being angry or upset. Remember, we are not trying to achieve perfection. We are simply trying to notice and be with what is. So just simply, if you find your mind thinking of laundry or things that you have to do after this, or what you would prefer to be eating right now, just gently escort your mind back to the breath, the inhalation and the exhalation. I'm going to do this a few more times, a few more cycles. Remember, non-striving, non-judgmental acceptance. Just being with what is, just noticing. A few more breaths. And now I would invite you to gently open your eyes. Wiggle your fingers. Wiggle your toes. And just notice how you feel. So how was that? Just notice how you feel. Notice any sensations in your body that feel more pronounced or more alive. Do you feel more anxious? Do you feel calmer? Whatever that feeling is, take a couple of deep breaths. And on the exhale, just imagine letting it all go and returning to the moment. You can do this exercise throughout the day as you remember that focusing on our breath reconnects our minds, our bodies to the present moment. It allows us to deal with whatever arises, the changes of emotions, the changes of how we feel, the changes of our living experience. When we encounter stress or difficulty or anxiety, any unpleasant emotions, even maybe we are thrilled about something and we just want to bring ourselves to a calm, we can always come back to the breath. You can do this anywhere. The breath is a sustainer of life. The breath is the life force on this physical plane. So how was that exercise for you? Hopefully it brought you some delight and some surprise. Remember that mindfulness focuses on non-judgmental awareness of our thoughts and of our feelings and of our experiences. And so writing a love letter to yourself is such an affirming way to be mindful, to be with ourselves, to be with what is without judging what we're going through, without judging ourselves for how we are responding, but just simply sending love, sending kindness and compassion to our essential being. And so hopefully you got a lot out of this exercise. I promised you that I was going to write my own, and because I am in this with you, I am willing to also share it. Dear one, you have really been working hard at your own personal growth and healing, even amid so many changes. You have tried hard to stay grounded, even in the midst of grief, fear, and uncertainty. I am proud of you. You are doing a wonderful job at both gathering and preserving your strength. I also want to gently remind you that it is okay to rest, to simply allow yourself to be. You are worthy. You need not overwork or overcompensate to prove that. Throughout the coming days and weeks, remind yourself to let go, to soften, to surrender, to practice stillness, to practice being. You are worthy. You are already enough. There is nothing that you can add to your most essential self. Rest in that. Rest in knowing you are loved and held. You are enough. That felt good to me. I felt that. And I just want to allow myself to be with those words. And I also invite you to do the same. We are in this together. And I'm just so grateful to be able to share this time with you, and to share these tools that I try to practice, that have helped to support me and to support my own well-being. I am wishing you kindness and compassion. I hope that you found something useful and that you will continue to be mindful. You can write as many love letters to yourself as you would like. I would encourage you to actually make it a regular practice of affirming yourself, of being with yourself, allowing yourself to be. So don't forget that we can always bring ourselves into the present moment. No matter what is happening around us, there's always potential to bring ourselves into the present moment. We can locate the central force of our physical lives, our physical experiences here, which is the breath. The breath is the life force and sustainer on this physical plane. And we can be in relationship with our bodies to examine how we're feeling, the places that we are feeling tight, the places where we are feeling tension. And we can also write, because writing is the transference of energy. And so if you're interested in learning more about mindfulness, I would just encourage you. There is tons of research out there. There is tons of books, tons of information. Again, it is something that continues to support my own journey. And I just thank you for taking the time for yourself and for sticking with this, for supporting your own well-being and your own growth. My name is Manon Voice, and again, I am a poet, spoken word artist. I am a writer, community builder, and practicing contemplative. And you can find me on social media at Manon Voice, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. That's MANONVOICE. And I also have a website. It's manonvoice.com, MANONVOICE.com. Thank you very much for tuning in today. I am wishing you wellness, wishing you playfulness, wishing you delight, and wishing you ease. Thank you for staying with us and with yourself in this workshop, for taking the time to be with yourself, to care for yourself. It is so important in such a fast-moving world that constantly demands our attention, that constantly distracts us, that pulls us into 1,000 different directions. And many of these causes are worthy causes. You know, we are called to all kinds of things. So our lives have become very, very busy. Our lives have become very, very cluttered as well. Even in the midst of productivity, sometimes we forget how to just power down and allow time for self-care, allow time to recharge our mental and emotional batteries so that we can pour from a full cup. And so thank you for taking this time to do that today. Again, we are living in such an uncertain time for the world. And so I want to just commend you for engaging today, for bringing your whole self with whatever you are experiencing, with whatever you're feeling, with wherever you are. I just want you to take some time to thank yourself for showing up today as you are and for simply allowing yourself to be present. Thank you. Thank you. We have come to our last exercise in this meditation and affirmation writing workshop where we have focused on mindfulness as a theme. I hope you have learned something today. I hope you have found something that you can take with you. And because I am a poet and I love poetry, I am going to read another poem and take a prompt from this poem for our next writing exercise. And so this poem is called Love After Love. It's by Derek Walcott, and I am going to read it for you. And I would invite you just to close your eyes, if you like, or not, and just be present to these words. Allow them to wash over you. Allow them to touch you wherever that happens, or maybe not. But just be with these words. This is Love After Love by Derek Walcott, who was a poet from Trinidad. So he was a West Indian poet. The time will come when, with elation, you will greet yourself arriving at your own door, in your own mirror, and each will smile at the other's welcome and say, "Sit here, eat." You will love again the stranger who was yourself. Give wine, give bread, give back your heart to itself, to the stranger who has loved you all of your life, whom you ignored for another, who knows you by heart. Take down the love letters from the bookshelf, the photographs, the desperate notes. Peel your own image from the mirror. Sit, feast on your life. The time will come when, with elation, you will greet yourself arriving at your own door in your own mirror, and each will smile at the other's welcome and say, "Sit here, eat." You will love again the stranger who was yourself. Give wine, give bread, give back your heart to itself, to the stranger who has loved you all your life, whom you ignored for another, who knows you by heart. Take down the love letters from the bookshelf, the photographs, the desperate notes. Peel your own image from the mirror. Sit, feast on your life. Sit, feast on your life. for our writing prompt to this very, very powerful poem, this very, very powerful piece, I want you to write a love letter to yourself, to where you are right now in your life, whoever you are, whatever you're experiencing, whatever you're going through, whatever you're feeling, whatever that is. I just want you to write an affirming love letter to yourself with kindness and compassion, the qualities of mindfulness. What do you want to say to yourself? What does your best self want to say to you? Remember, kindness and compassion. How do you want to affirm yourself? Would it be hang in there? You got this. This won't last. Or keep going. Or you're growing. What would that love letter say? Take some time to just think about that, to just reflect. And maybe it's something that just comes pouring out. I'm going to do this exercise. Again, I've got my notebook and I've got my pen because I want you to know that I am in this with you. You are not alone. So don't be shy. And just simply let whatever flows from your heart be and come out. The heart knows the way. So whatever that is that your best self wants to say to where you are right now, whoever you are, whatever you are experiencing, wherever you come from, say it with love, with kindness, and with compassion. Affirm yourself. You are worthy to be here. Where you are right now, you are a worthy being, stronger than any momentary changes, stronger than any temporary difficulties. You are.